Here's the thing. What if I told you there's a motorcycle with heated seats, a reverse gear, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and a ride so buttery smooth you'd swear you were gliding on marshmallows over hot asphalt? Oh, and what if I told you it's been pulling this off before a solid chunk of you were even born? Yeah, I'm talking about the legend, the icon, the bike that basically drew the blueprint for luxury touring on two wheels. This is the 2026 Honda GL1800 Gold Wing, and today on Motometrics, we're going to tear into every little thing you need to know before you decide whether this $25,500 beast deserves a spot in your garage. Let's roll. A little backstory first, not because I want to bore you, but because this bike didn't just fall off a turnip truck yesterday. The Gold Wing's been roaming American roads since 1975. 50 years, half a century of Honda tweaking, refining, and basically obsessing over how to make long-distance riding not suck. And the 2026 model keeps that legacy humming, packing all the goodies from the last generation in a fresh new paint job this year. That gorgeous matte bullet silver with matte pearl morion finish. Clean, stealthy. Looks like $1 million, honestly. All right, enough history lesson. You want to know what matters. The engine. Under the tank sits an 1833cc liquid-cooled flat 6. Yes, 6 cylinders on a motorcycle. Honda didn't show up to play patty cake. This horizontally opposed monster pumps out 125 horses at 5,500 RPM and a walloping 170 Newton meters, 125 pound-feet if you're keeping score, at just 4,500 RPM. What's that feel like in the real world? Picture this. You're cruising 60 miles per hour on the interstate, passing a semi, you twist the throttle, and the Gold Wing just goes. No drama, no hesitation, no frantic downshifting. Just smooth, turbine-like thrust that makes you wonder why you ever stressed about anything in your entire life. Now, here's where it gets juicy, and most bikes in this price range can't touch this. 2 transmission choices, a traditional 6-speed manual or Honda's legendary 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, the DCT. And look, that DCT is a showstopper, shifts faster and smoother than most humans ever could in their wildest dreams. The 7th gear is an overdrive meant for highway cruising, so when you're bombing down Route 66 at 75 miles per hour, the engine is barely breathing. Less noise, less vibration, better fuel economy. Just brilliant engineering, full stop. Oh, and both versions, manual and DCT, come with a reverse gear. Yeah, reverse, on a motorcycle. Because Honda knows that backing an 800-pound beast up an incline driveway is basically a CrossFit workout nobody signed up for. Wait, did I just say 800 pounds? Yep, the Gold Wing weighs about 806 pounds wet with the manual. Now, before you say, that's terrifying, hang on, because this is where Honda pulls off what might be the greatest magic trick in touring bike history. That flat 6 sits super low and centered. The center of gravity is the lowest in its class, and that changes everything. Slow speeds, parking lots, U-turns, this bike feels way lighter than it has any right to. Once you're moving, it handles with a confidence and stability that genuinely shocks first-time Gold Wing riders. Plus, the front suspension uses a radical double-wishbone design, same concept you'd find in performance cars, instead of a regular telescopic fork. That shifts the engine and rider closer to the front wheel, sharpens the handling geometry, and gives the Gold Wing a sporty, planted feel that absolutely has no business existing on a bike this big and comfy. Speaking of comfy, let's talk cockpit, because this is where the Gold Wing just embarrasses the competition. You get an electrically adjustable windscreen that moves almost 5 inches up and down, automatically changing angle as it goes, and it remembers your last setting. Hop on next time, it's right where you left it. Then there's a gorgeous 7-inch TFT color display front and center, and connected to that, full wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Navigate, take calls, control your music, all through the screen, no cables dangling. Ride modes, Tour, Sport, Rain, Economy, let you tweak throttle response and power delivery to whatever the road throws at you. Traction control, hill start assist so you don't roll back on inclines, tire pressure monitoring, cruise control, all standard. This isn't some gadget-stuffed gimmick. The tech feels genuinely integrated, genuinely useful, and genuinely polished. And your passenger, they're not just along for the ride, they're living their best life back there. The Gold Wing Tour variant adds heated seats and a massive 61-liter trunk with a built-in backrest. Legroom, seating position, padding, Honda clearly thought about the person riding behind you just as much as they thought about you. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Is this bike worth $25,500? Honest answer, it's actually competitive. The BMW K1600 GTL starts over 30 grand. The Harley-Davidson Road Glide, similar territory. The Gold Wing at 25,500 for the base manual, or a few grand more for the DCT, gives you a level of engineering, tech, reliability, and long-haul comfort that's genuinely hard to beat anywhere near this price. And let's not forget, Cycle World named the Gold Wing Tour DCT the best touring bike of 2025. That's not luck, that's 50 years of Honda getting really freakishly good at one specific thing. Before we wrap, stick around for a second, because there's one thing about the 2026 Gold Wing we haven't fully dug into yet, something that might actually change your mind about whether this is the right bike for you. I'm saving it for the end screen video coming right after this. Trust me, you're gonna want to see it. But here's where we land today. The 2026 Honda GL1800 Gold Wing isn't just a motorcycle, it's a statement. It's what happens when a Japanese engineering giant spends 50 years asking one question: what's the absolute best way to travel long distances on two wheels, and then actually delivering? A flat six smoother than most car engines, suspension borrowed from sports car engineering, tech that rivals a luxury sedan, build quality Honda's spent a lifetime perfecting. If you're a serious touring rider, or even just thinking about becoming one, the Gold Wing belongs at the top of your list. That's it for today on Motometrics. If you got something out of this review, hit that like button. It helps the channel more than you know. And when that end screen pops up in a sec, click the next video, because we're going deeper on something about this bike that flips the whole conversation. See you over there.